Hey, just quickly recording this just to say that while I was editing this, I saw that the game is going to be leaving by the 16th. So if you're watching this before it leaves, if you have Game Pass, the game will be 20% off. And if you don't have Game Pass, it's only $15. One thing I mentioned in the first video was how Game Pass is a great way to discover and play games that probably wouldn't have crossed your radar beforehand. Take me for example. You see, I'm someone who tends to live under a rock when it comes to new releases. I don't watch any directs and I don't browse the internet for game news. When I find games, it's usually from one or two things. Either I saw it on YouTube recommended, or I got bored and looked through the Game Pass library. For a little to the left, it was kind of both. One night, I was doom scrolling YouTube shorts because I have to watch my favorite drama, Bistro Huddy, before bed.
Hey, who the f are you calling dumb? Huh?
Oh, no, it was this guy.
Oh, very sorry. Hey, who the
When I saw a short of someone playing a puzzle game sorting everyday items pop up. At the time, I thought to myself, wow, this looks pretty interesting, and immediately forgot about it. But months later, I saw it, right there, while looking through the library, in the corner of my little eye, and thought, why the hell not? So I downloaded it. A Little to the Left is a game that was created by two artists, Andy McMillan and Lucas Steinman. The idea and the demo of A Little to the Left was created in 2020 as an entry for GMTK Game Jam, an annual event where game designers create games based on a theme and a time constraint. The theme that year was out of control, and contestants were only given 48 hours to create a unique game and submit it. The idea, art, and gameplay were all created in that 24 hours. Quick note here, but I just wanted to say that I'm honestly shocked and in awe that so many people, not just these two, but so many people created thousands of entries in 24 hours. Like, to not only come up with something on the spot, but to make a working demo, it takes a lot of determination. After creating the demo, it ignited a spark in the duo, leading them to create Max Inferno, their indie studio, in 2021, and continue working on making a full version of A Little to the Left. And a year later, with the publisher secret mode, they released the full game on Switch on November 8th. In 2023, the team of two would become three, with a man named Daniel Crane joining as technical lead. And shortly after, in early 2024, the game would be released on Xbox and PlayStation Gamepass, because there's no other platform that matters. Since then, they've created two DLCs, Cupboard in Drawers and Seeing the Stars. And as far as I know, they haven't announced any new projects. Alright, jeez. A Little to the Left takes the messy chaos of real life and turns it into relatively quick levels of cleaning, sorting, and fixing things, all while soothing music plays in the back. So, in short, an OCD's wet dream. The art style is one of my favorites. It's very cozy and not too busy, and there's just something about the rough, uneven outlines that's just so good. And the palette? It's amazing. It's a mishmash of very appealing, mute, and pastel colors that is not too desaturated to look boring, but it's not so oversaturated that it's hard to look at. The game doesn't have any story necessarily, but it does have structure, being formatted in chapters. And a lot of the levels have to do with cleaning up after your cat, which honestly makes sense, and so my headcanon is just, this game is in the perspective of a messy ass cat owner. When it comes to gameplay, most levels on each chapter are pretty quick and easy, with a few longer difficult ones sprinkled in between them. The levels can vary between very easy and obvious to, oh my god, what the fuck do you want me to do with these leaves? Most levels in the game only have one way of solving them, but there are a couple that have multiple ways of beating it. When you complete a level, the amount of ways the level can be beaten are shown in stars. Most of the time when you complete it, it'll only show 1 star, but other times you'll complete it and you'll see 1 or 2 more stars that are empty. meaning you can go back and replay the level, giving levels more replayability. And while we're on the topic of replayability, if you've completed the main game, don't feel like getting the DLCs, or you've already played the DLCs, and you've completed all the extra puzzles, there's still the daily tidy. That gives you a puzzle to complete every day. The puzzles are usually slight variations of the ones in the main levels, so while they aren't new puzzles necessarily, it still adds some needed replayability to the game. The only complaint I have is that when it comes to playing on console, the controls are pretty rough. It's much nicer playing with a mouse. And while I wish that the controls were much smoother with controller, maybe some games are just not meant for console plebs like me. Overall, the game is very simple. It's not reinventing any wheel, but honestly that's not a bad thing. Sometimes, instead of playing an unconventional, psychologically breaking game that brings into question your entire existence as a human being, you just want to boot up something that does simple right, and this game does that. It's a simple game made by amazing people with a soothing soundtrack, easy on the eyes palette, comfy art style. It's a puzzle game you'd play before bed, or in bed, with a cup of hot chocolate before snoozing. Because I, a southerner, know a lot about snoozing with hot chocolate.